Okay, let's talk about Brazil. You might not think of it this way, but it's a quiet agricultural superpower, a huge player in our global food system. But right now, it's facing what you could call a perfect storm, and we're going to break down exactly what that means for you and for me.
So get a load of this number, 10.3%. What is that? Well, that's the share of the entire world's food calories produced by Brazil. I mean, that's just staggering. We're not just talking about a big producer here. This means Brazil is an agricultural superpower that is literally helping to feed all of us on this planet.
And to put that into perspective, look at this. Brazil comes in at number 4 globally for food production, and that's measured in those all-important calories. I mean, we're talking about a true global heavyweight, trailing only giants like China, the US, and India. That's the league they're in.
So what happens when a superpower like that runs into a perfect storm? Because that is exactly what's happening right now. We're seeing all these intense pressures converging, all hitting at the same time. You've got global conflicts messing with supply chains, you've got the real-world impacts of climate change, and then there's this huge new financial pressure for sustainability.
All right, so before we dive headfirst into that storm, let's take a step back and really appreciate the sheer scale of Brazil's agricultural engine. Okay, so how did they do it? Well, the secret to Brazil's success is right here in this chart. See that soaring blue line? That's Brazil's productivity growth. And this is key. It's not about just gobbling up more land. Nope. It's about these incredible gains in efficiency, growing more food way more effectively. That has been the absolute game changer for them.
And that productivity boom, it directly fueled this just astonishing surge in exports. I mean, look at these numbers. They went from around $20 billion in 2000 to nearly $160 billion by 2022. That's not just growth, that's exponential. And it's what really cemented Brazil's role as a cornerstone of the entire global food supply.
Okay, so now let's get into the first part of this perfect storm. We're talking about how conflicts happening thousands of miles away are creating very real, very serious risks for farms right there in Brazil. You hear this term geopolitical risk, and it can sound kind of academic, right? Like something out of a textbook. But it's not. This stuff has very real, very direct consequences for the cost of your groceries and whether that food is even available.
Think of it like a chain reaction. A conflict erupts somewhere far away. Suddenly, the supply of something crucial, like fertilizer, gets disrupted. That means farmers in Brazil, thousands of miles away, see their costs skyrocket. And guess where that cost ends up? Yep, it hits the price we all pay at the checkout counter.
And here's the thing. This is Brazil's Achilles heel. The country imports a whopping 85% of the fertilizers it uses. 85%. That dependency is massive. It means a conflict halfway around the world can immediately put the next harvest in jeopardy.
And look, this isn't a small issue. Fertilizers aren't just one item on a long list of imports. They make up almost half of all agribusiness-related imports. That is a huge, critical vulnerability. It's like a single point of failure that can be shaken by events completely outside of their control.
But it's not just about geopolitics. There's another huge force at play here, and it's completely reshaping Brazilian agriculture. The global demand for sustainability. And, well, this is creating its own set of really complex challenges, and even new conflicts.
You've probably heard this acronym, ESG. It stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. And right now, the financial world is using these 3 pillars to decide where to put literally trillions of dollars of investment. The big idea is that companies that do well on these fronts are just, well, they're seen as safer, more resilient bets for the future.
Now, for the producers on the ground, the farmers and agribusinesses, this isn't just about PR or feeling good. Having strong ESG practices is fast becoming a competitive necessity. Why? Because it can unlock the door to better investment, cheaper loans, and get you into those premium markets where customers are demanding to know their food is sourced sustainably.
But, and this is a big but, this whole push for sustainability isn't a simple, happy story. There's some sharp criticism out there. Some folks argue that this so-called green capitalism has a dark side. They point to huge green projects, like wind farms, that can actually end up pushing small, local farmers off their land. And that, as you can imagine, leads to some pretty bitter conflicts.
And of course, we can't forget the reason for this whole sustainability push in the first place, climate change. And let's be clear, this isn't some far-off future problem. It is happening right now. Farms in Brazil are already getting hammered by more extreme weather. We're talking intense droughts and massive floods, and that directly threatens crop yields and the stability of our food supply.
So you take all of this, the geopolitical shocks, the new demands for sustainability,
the direct hit from climate change, and you've got Brazil's entire agricultural sector standing at a massive crossroads. The choices they make right now are going to have huge, and I mean huge, global implications.
And really, two very different paths forward are starting to emerge. On one hand, you have what's being called a grand strategy. This is a big, top-down national plan, with the government and industry leading the way. But on the other hand, you have a completely different vision. It's more decentralized, more grassroots, and it's all about protecting small farmers and focusing on things like agroecology.
So, as all these global pressures keep mounting, the real question is, how will the choices Brazil makes on the farm affect what ends up on your plate? Because the path they choose, it's not just going to shape their biggest industry. It's going to send ripples all across the globe, affecting everything from food security to the price you pay at the grocery store. How this agricultural superpower navigates this perfect storm, well, that's a question that really, truly matters to every single one of us.